recorded. Okay, Coach, you're up. Thank you.
All righty, guys. Exciting week. First road game, a national TV game, which is awesome to have that national exposure again. 1:30 kickoff, 12:30 Pacific. So supposed to be a gorgeous day, which we're looking forward to. I've always had a lot of respect for Coach Sumlin. And the job he's done wherever he's been, whether it's been Oklahoma, Houston, Texas A&M, or Arizona, he always provides electric offenses, up-tempo offenses that make you cover every inch of grass on the field with the spread offenses that he runs. Has a good young quarterback in Grant Gunnell. We have not gotten to see a ton of Grant, having gone against Khalil Tate the past couple of years, but on film, a little bit different style of quarterback. But I thought he did an exceptional job coming in, handling the RPO game, which is a big part of their offense, getting the ball out quick, has good deep ball accuracy. And when you go back and look at the tape, he is a quarterback that protects the ball. Only one interception in 8 games that he was in last year. So he is a more of a pocket passer than Khalil, who was a very athletic, dynamic runner as well as thrower. This is a true pocket RPO quarterback. The loss of J.J. Taylor from graduating has allowed Brightwell to step in the mold. We got to see him some last year, bigger back than J.J., but just as electric, shows great explosiveness. And they've got an older offensive line, and Donovan Lai kind of is the rock of that offensive line. Has done a good job for him. Defensively, kind of the second week in a row, you go in with unscouted looks. He didn't quite know what Marvin was and Antonio were going to do last week, and now we got Paul Rhodes coming in, who we got a lot of respect for, former Iowa State head coach. And the last time he coordinated was 2017 with Arkansas. So scouting that tape from basically 3 years ago, we'll see what changes that have been made. He did a lot of odd front back then, which kind of fits their personnel. Defensive front wise, a lot of new faces. They brought in a couple grad transfers on that defensive front, as well as some junior college players to bolster up that D line. A couple young linebackers that we'll face. Probably the guys we know the most personnel wise would be the back end, and got a lot of respect for Burns and Wallace, who have played a lot of good ball for them for a while. Actually, Lorenzo got a pick against us last year, Southern California kid that's done a great job there. So from an injury standpoint, it's really just it's the 2 kids that we talked about on Sunday that are probably question marks for us with Brett Nealon. We'll see how that goes. He's going to be listed as questionable right now. I'll give you a lot better idea come Thursday when we talk again. And Brandon Peely, surgery went extremely well, feeling good. But obviously, we'll see where that is as the week goes on. Both of those would be questionable. Everybody else is just bumps and bruises. Nothing that I see right now that would hold us back from playing in this game with the same kids we had last week. So we'll go through the week, and hopefully, knock on wood, we all stay healthy, all stay safe, and get ready for a good Arizona team. With that, I'll take any questions you got.
Okay, a reminder to raise your hands, and I'll give you a call in here. We'll start with Ryan Karchi.
Hey, Clay. I know you mentioned a little bit about having to go against unscouted looks. There's a chance that, especially if the Utah-UCLA game isn't able to be played this weekend, that you would play 3 teams in a row that you haven't had any film on. Is that sort of a nightmare for a coach, or how much of an impact does that have, not being able to see that as a frame of reference?
Ryan, I tell you, it is hard, just being honest. When you don't have a scouted look, you got to really focus on your execution and what you believe in, and do the things that your kids are good at. You don't do a lot of new things that against what you don't know what you're going to see. So you lean on what you're good at, what your kids can execute. You worry more about fundamentals and technique and being an execution based offense rather than just trying to trick people. And you have to be really good at making adjustments in games and talking after each and every series about what we saw, what they're doing. I thought last week Graham did a really good job of that with Drev and Jinx and the offensive staff, JDB, to be able to say, okay, hey, you know what, it's a 4-down day. We're seeing cover 3, cover 1. They're mixing in some cover 4. These are the passes that we want to be able to get to. I thought the run game adjustments that were made in that game were critical for us to be able to get the 175 yards, which is necessary for us this year. It was a nice shot. We'll have to do the same thing here, to be honest with you. We're guessing that we're going to get odd front based on what we've seen versus when he was at Arkansas, as well as their personnel marries up with it. But you don't know. I mean, 3 years you can add anything. 3 years you can add anything. Have new ideas. We'll just have to do great communication again.
I know you mentioned before that there were some things that Keaton might want to work on after that past game. Anything that stood out on film in terms of things he can work on going forward?
Well, I think one, we're so fortunate to have a kid like that. I was talking to somebody last night, and you go there and a kid goes 72% and throws for 381, and you're like, how can he get better? For most guys, that's a career day, But in Keaton's case, the positives that came out of it, Ryan, is he didn't force the ball. And that's what I saw. There was some, and when it needed to have some true trust and pull the trigger, he did. The Drake London pitch and catch was unbelievable. There was another big play in that second half where he hits a deep outcut to Drake on the sideline, where he pulls the trigger and lets it go. The vertical package he hits with Amon-Ra on one of the last drives down the middle of the field, pulls the trigger and lets it go. He's doing a good job there. But where I was proud of him, to be honest with you, was the 11 checkdowns that he had. Instead of forcing the ball, he checked it down to the back, and that may only be 4, 6 yards, 7 yards. Sometimes it was 10, but it's where his growth has gone to, and that's what I hope to see consistently. Where we saw those early turnovers last year, that really hurt us from the quarterback position. I didn't see that in that game. So hopefully that's where he continues to grow.
Okay, shotgun.
Hey, Clay, anything that you thought you were doing really well in camp that you need to attack in practice this week after seeing how you played on Saturday?
Well, I think, shotgun, the biggest thing that we're going to face this week, and we got hit for a big play in the Arizona State game, is making sure that we control the perimeter. We let one of the perimeter plays, RPO plays, get outside of us. One of our safeties was in perfect position and jumped in at the last second. The ball got outside, and it created an explosive play. It's just being real disciplined in our assignments, being able to force that ball back in, because this is a huge RPO team. And as good as you'll see in our league at it. And Kevin always has been good. But I would say, Shotgun, the biggest thing for us is be able to, this week, we didn't see it last week, handle the tempo of Arizona. This will be the fastest paced team that we face all year. And then being able to handle the RPO game out on the perimeter, which cost us an explosive play last game.
What about your short yardage efficiency, I guess? I had you guys at like 9 of 21 for success rate.
You'll have to send me that breakdown. That'll be good. I don't know what you're judging that off of, whether it's 3rd and 1 to 2, 3rd and 1 to 3. I think one, when you go into versus some unscouted looks, especially on 3rd and short, not exactly knowing what you're going to get. I guess we made some. We were facing a little bit of bare front with guard center guard covered in that game. It had a physical beat on one, I know, at one of the guard positions. Was a physical beat. Assignment was there. But we will continue. I know I got the 4th down question, but depending on the game that we're in, if we're playing an explosive offense like Arizona State, where I feel touchdowns are more important than field goals, we're going to go for those 4th and 1 to 2s to be able to try to score those touchdowns. I always look at it as, if you end up, even if you bat 500 and that 4th and 1 turns into a touchdown rather than kicking 2 field goals, you're 1 point up. Even if you're batting 50%. So we'll continue that based on how the game is going. And what type of offense we're facing. If it's a high point offense where we feel touchdowns are important, we're going to be a little bit more aggressive. But yes, we can do better in that area. I know that it's something that Drev and Graham are working on, and give them credit. I thought, especially in the run game, not knowing exactly what we were going to get, there were some adjustments made on the move that helped us.
Adam Grossbart.
Clay, I know it's a pretty short flight this week, but just what are the new 2020 travel protocols?
Well, you get the biggest play that you could possibly get, which we have, to be able to space out and be able to provide that amount of space. There's nobody sitting side by side with each other. There's always a space in between. Obviously, anywhere we go, you've seen us with masks on constantly. Our kids have done a great job of discipline, and our staff just of knowing how important it is to mask up and keep distance. And that's what you've got to do. I appreciate the university for their chartering as about as big as plane as you can have, and also. The party size is a lot less. You don't have boosters, you don't have administrators. You basically got your functioning football team. We don't even have student managers. So the party size is a lot less. You still have the 74 count. That's different than what we took to the park last week, which was the entire football team. You have to cut down from basically a little over 110 to down to 74. So those are just some of the things that help you. But the party size is a lot smaller and plane's a lot bigger. And mask up and stay separated.
Okay, we'll go to Skylar.
Hey, Coach Clay, what a win this weekend. Congratulations. That was about as exciting as it gets.
Thank you, buddy.
I would like to ask is, obviously with the college football playoff committee, sometimes they judge wins and the season in a certain way. And with the shortened season, each win becomes more important. If they're looking at you guys to get into the playoffs, what do you say to them if they're looking for dominant wins and they're looking at this win and they're trying to judge it on getting you guys into the playoffs?
Yeah. Start with winning. That's the biggest thing. And as we've seen in some of these early games, I think good teams, winners win, and good teams, championship teams, find a way to win games where maybe they're not playing perfect. We've already seen it this year. I mean, you go back, Notre Dame, 10-6 ball game against Louisville. You go Clemson versus Boston College. They're down 2 scores in the second half. You go Alabama versus Ole Miss. They get in a shootout, 40+ points in that game for Ole Miss. There's going to be those games that I know that good teams, championship teams, find a way to come out on top. You're going to have those games. We just had it in the first game against one of the better teams we're going to face all year. I think an Arizona State team, as you watch them progress, is going to be one of those top 30 teams in the country. So we had a close game and found a way to pull it out. Now, as you build your resume and build wins and hopefully build experience and reps, you can create separation. And that's our job, is to win games and try to present the best resume possible for them to be able to judge. But as I've seen it, you've seen a lot of top 10 teams lose this year. It starts with winning. That's number one, is getting the win. And then, obviously, hopefully, as you gain experience, your kids get some rust off that. Those wins can be impressive wins. We were fortunate to come out with a great win versus Arizona State this past weekend.
Okay, I'm going to have to let Clay go here. It's 8 o'clock straight up. Coach, thanks for joining us. Stays on the line. We'll have Graham on in a minute, and Tyler Vaughns and Vavae Malepeai. I see Vavae and Tyler have both joined us now. So let's give Graham a minute to join us, and we'll start this second part up.
All right, guys, take care. Bye.
Maybe Katie, you can ping Graham.
Yep.
Why don't we start? We can start with some questions for the players. Both Tyler and Vi are on. Anybody has a question, you just raise your hand and we'll call on you. We'll start with Eric McKinney.
Vavae, for you, you go in that game, the early fumble and then kind of finishing off on those two big runs at the end. Can you take us through, I guess, your sort of mental state in that game and the low to high of going through there?
Yeah, Coach Graham and really our whole coaching staff really emphasizes selfless, tough, and discipline. And I feel like that played a big role into my mindset in the game. I obviously did a selfish act by trying to reach for the end zone on first down. They always say the rule is unless it's fourth down or end of the game, never reach for it. And I did that. So I understood why I didn't go in after that. But I mean, it was just a matter of, being happy for the guys on the field and being able to just enjoy their hard work pay off, So because Keith stepped up, Marquise came in and Steve came in, they was really just handling the ball, throwing the rock. And there's no way you can't be happy for them. They really handled business. So I just stayed ready for the opportunity. I knew that if I had to go back in, and I would try to make the best of it. And I think that's what I did. And it's a big credit to the O-line and the wideouts really blocking on the edges. So there's a big team effort. And I feel like that's what this game is the ultimate team sport. So I'm just glad everybody was there to, give good energy the whole game.
Okay, next question is from Ryan Young, and we do have Graham with us now. So Graham, we'll just take questions. You don't need to make an opening comment. So Ryan, you're up.
Vi, what's it like being in this deep running back room and knowing that you kind of have to maximize your opportunities when you get them? Is there more pressure when you get your touches on the field to feel like you have to capitalize?
I wouldn't say it's pressure, but it's just a matter of leaning back on your training and what you've done the whole week, practicing. It's just a matter of doing what you've been practicing to do. Like you said, when you go in, you have to maximize your opportunities. And in the beginning, I didn't do a great job with that, but that's why we have multiple backs in the room, and they did do a good job. So I feel like we all feed off each other's energy.
And Graham, 14 points in the middle of the fourth quarter. What was your biggest frustration at that point with the way things had gone?
More than anything, just turning the football over. We turn the football over with that points off at least 3 times right there. And the fourth one we're driving, the other one we weren't in the scoring area, but we're driving to get there. And so you got to take care of the football. We had moved the football all day, so I was confident that we could continue to do that. It just came down to taking care of the football and finding a way to get in the end zone. And, I think the thing I was most proud about is I don't think there was any panic from everything I heard from the coaches that were down on the sideline is, we're frustrated. We should have more points than that. But the positive was we'd moved the ball well all day. And just every time we got down there, turn the ball over, or once we went for it on fourth down from the 5 and don't get it, there's more points off the board. So I think everyone understood, like, hey, if we get the ball, we'll move it, because we've done that's what we've done the entire night. We just have to finish drives. We have to do a better job finishing drives, and fortunately, we found a way to finish the two that we had to.
Ryan Abraham.
Hey, Graham, Keaton looked like he was as accurate as he was last year, but just from what I was watching, the ball looked like it was a little more wobbly, maybe not as tight of a spiral. Did you notice that, or any reason for that?
I couldn't really tell from where I was.
Oh, okay.
Better view, to be honest with you, on TV. But no, like I said, from up in the box, it's like you're watching from the moon sometimes. So you can't see the spin of the ball, to be honest with you.
Was the ball slick at all or anything, or do you know?
I don't know. That might be. But let's say it was, and that's why we put the ball on the ground all night. I don't know. I don't think it was, but I could be wrong on that. I do know we brought out new balls the other day and tried to break them in, and then there was a little moisture in the air. I mean, on the ground and in the air throughout the day from a little bit of light rain, or there was a little bit of heavy rain that morning, but then there was a light rain throughout the night. So when you get some moisture out there with a little bit of with some new balls, it can be slick. So that could have been it, but that's the thing about Keaton and most of the guys on the team. He didn't ever say anything about that, and which I'm proud of. Whether it was slick or not, we got to find a way to take care of the football, and we got to find a way to throw and catch and hold on to it, whatever the conditions are, And so they didn't use that as an excuse, and didn't talk about it. He did say yesterday he wanted to bring those balls back out and continue to break them in. So there may have been a little slickness to him, but again, he didn't say anything about it in the game, and our guys didn't try to use that as an excuse. But I could see possibly the ball being a little slick. I don't know.
Thanks.
Yep.
Adam Grossbard.
Vi, we know you were limited to start camp. How are you progressing physically, and just how, it seemed like you gained momentum as the game went on Saturday. Is that how you felt the game progressed for you?
Yeah, I feel like everybody did a great job of feeding off each other's energy, and that's what I did. The running backs did good, and they got me hyped up on the sideline, and just the juice that was going on from everybody who wasn't in the game. So when my opportunity came, it was just like a 1-2, like I had to get some jitters out the way in the beginning, I guess, but it is what it is. It's just a matter of moving forward and handling the next play and controlling what you can control.
And just physically, like, how close do you feel to like 100%?
Oh, I'm going all the way now. I'm 100%. Yeah.
Let me get Tyler involved here. Tyler, let me ask you, can you talk about the receiving core? You're kind of the veteran there now, how you see it playing, and how you think they did on Saturday, all you guys.
I think as a collective, the receiver group had a good day. Drake and Amon, they really did their thing during the game, and showing that, executing our plays and just keeping our tempo throughout our offense, how explosive we can be. So it can be anybody's day that day, either mine, Amon, or Drake. So, it just opened up the offense and explains us, really.
Ryan Karchi.
Graham, Clay talked a little bit about how he was proud of Keaton for all the checkdowns that he had, especially early on in that game. From your perspective, what does that say about Keaton's development, that he was kind of in a headspace where he would make that decision instead of pushing the ball down the field unnecessarily?
I think that's a good sign for us. I think a lot of people, their goal is going to be to try to take away explosives, because, as you can see with guys on here and what we've talked about, we have guys that can be really special with the ball in their hand, whether it be in the run game or the pass game. And when we drop back, I would imagine a lot of people's goal would be get soft and try to take away explosives. And when they do that, you got to be disciplined enough not to turn the football over and check it down. And, he threw the one interception, which he could have got to check down on that one too. But if you think back to, take the BYU game last year, there was people were dropping, trying to get soft, take away explosives, and he forced a few balls and turned them over when he had the check down. And so I think that's an obvious sign of growth. Same thing, Oregon did the same thing. They tried to get soft and take away explosives. and he forced a few balls he maybe shouldn't have forced. And so, again, it's something we've discussed. It's something that we know will help us in the future. And when we put the ball, we have a great group of receivers, but those running backs are pretty talented too. As you can see, we ran the ball very effectively the other night. And they did a lot of good things for us, I think. So putting the ball in their hand is a good situation too. And so, like I said, I think it's a sign of growth from his standpoint, understanding what people are trying to do and doing a really good job of taking what they gave him.
And Tyler, kind of on that note, what ways have you seen Keaton change after having this one game compared to last season?
He's just more comfortable. I mean, he's always comfortable in the pocket and everything like that, but just more comfortable with the offense and with all the other guys just on the team. So it shows out there just how he's shooting off the ball and putting everybody in spots where they need to be, just checking and calling plays on himself. So I see growth in that area.
Let's go to Antonio.
Graham, you guys ran 95 plays on Saturday, which seemed to be more than your average last year. Is that kind of the pace you envision for the offense?
I love 95 plays a game, for sure. Yeah, the more the better for us, I think. No, but I thought we did a pretty decent job at times playing with good tempo, and lots of plays are fun and good for us. And when you get that many opportunities, like we've talked about with the guys we have, you're gonna move the football, and so if you take care of the football and the other night, I think that scoreboard we would have scored a whole lot of points, and so the more opportunities we get, the better for us, or at least we like it. And so, I think the defense did a good job at times of getting them off the field quickly and getting the ball back to us and then giving us more shots at it. And so I don't remember what our average was last year, but yeah, I think that if we could get the play count up in the 80s and 90s, that would be very beneficial for us, and I think would lead to success. And so I like the way they played. I thought that throughout the game, I mean, we kind of went up and down, but played with pretty good tempo for the most part. And if we do that, we're going to get more cracks at it, which is what we want.
Shotgun.
Hey, Graham, what do you need to get more from the tight end position?
I think that the other night that those guys played it, especially Duke came in there and was really physical and did some decent things, and so that was good to see. But I think that the more reps they get, the more effective they're going to be. And so, like I said, they played a lot of reps between him and EK. I don't know how many they had, but they played the majority of the game and did some good things. But I think the key for those guys is just physical, and that's going to lead to success in the run game and the pass game, and so those guys are going to play critical roles for us. They make us a better football team. Again, that position is critical for us because they make us a lot more effective in the run game and the pass game, and they make us more versatile. And the other night we played with an open sets with them in the game a lot, which is going to be big for us. We feel more comfortable doing that this year. I think that both Jude and EK have improved as out there on the perimeter in the pass game, and so that's going to just make us that much more versatile if we can keep them on the football field, get in different sets with them, move them around, put them in different slots. It makes us it allows us to stay in the same personnel and be able to do almost anything out of it. And so those guys are going to be important for us. And again, I think that the most important thing for those guys is to be physical. They're big, they're strong kids. And if they are physical, they're harder to cover when they play physical, when they're running routes. And we run the ball a heck of a lot better when they're in there banging around and being physical too. So they're going to play key roles for us. They're going to be very important for us as the season goes on. And I think that as the season goes on, you're going to see them do more and more things.
And then maybe that's similar, but what do you need to do to be more efficient in short yardage situations?
I think that it's a mentality at times. At times, the fourth down on the 5 going in, and to be honest with you, I think I made a bad call when that guy got up on the line. I didn't give Jude much of a chance to get over there, and that kid made a good play. But if we would have known he would go over there, I would have brought Jude across and put him in a better position to get that kid. And then there's the 1 3rd and 1 where I don't know. I don't think Keaton realized it was 3rd and 1. And he threw the fade instead of handing it off. And there's 2 conversions right there if we just put those guys in a little better position to do the job. And so those 2, and then just getting reps at it is the other thing I think that's important. It's hard to replicate that situation in practice and the intensity that you're going to get, and those guys firing off. And so I think that those will be big for us. But we got to be better in short yard situations. If we convert a couple of those, again, you probably score a lot more points. Taking care of the football and converting 3rd and short, or third and 4th and short, lead to 40 or 50 points the other night. And so those are, when we talked to the team the other day, we said those are probably the 2 areas that we have to improve on next week to be better.
Mark Culkin.
Tyler, ASU kind of employed the same defense that BYU showed last year, dropping some agents into the zone. When the play breaks down, you being an upperclassman, were you noticing any challenges in finding open space with some of the newer receivers out there?
In terms of what? In the break, like scrimmage drill?
Yeah.
Like finding, no, I didn't find it hard to find empty space. I mean, we have rules in which that are like implemented, so we know it. Like areas in which if somebody's high, you come low. If you're low, you go high. Or if you're coming across, say flat, don't drift and stuff like that. So it wasn't an area which that we were like coming together and confused about it.
Yeah, the reason I was asking is because there's been a lot of talk about the checking down. So finding the running backs was there a challenge finding the open receiver from your perspective?
Say that one more time. No,
I have some landscaping in the background. I apologize. Was there a challenge for the receiver? Did you see a challenge from Keaton finding open receivers instead of checking down as much?
I didn't. I mean, just depending on the coverage you was getting that day. It was a lot of cover 4 and cover what's it called? I want to say 6 that day. But just knowing how they were playing them and just like that we were in our spots and everything like that. It was just a lot of defenders there. So our checkdowns are going to be there. So he knows that, and we just got to execute them right there.
Okay, Ryan Karchi.
Graham, I know you talked about Drake and his talent for a while, but was there anything that you saw on Saturday that maybe he wouldn't have done a year ago, or anywhere he improved especially?
Well, I think that what we saw out of Drake's what we expect out of Drake, to be honest with you. And, I think that a lot of, if you look at the last 4 games of the regular season last year, he may have been our leading receiver. Definitely in that UCLA game, he went for a ton of yards. Against Cal, he was big. Throughout that, like I said, in Colorado, he had a heck of a game. And so, if you look at the end of the season last year, I think that you saw we had a really special talent on our hands. And like you said, we've talked about how talented Drake is for a long time. But I think that, where Drake's grown is very similar to Keaton, is he's not a freshman anymore. He knows that he plays a huge role for us, and that he has, just with the year of experience, and he's taken on a little bit more, I don't know if you would say a leadership role, but he understands he's a key piece to us being successful. And he goes out there and plays like that. And so, I think that Drake's an extremely confident kid. He was confident last year, but if anything, he's even more confident because of the success he had last year. And experience and success produces confidence, which is natural. And so, I think that's what you saw the other night out of him was he has continued to grow and he's continued to develop his confidence. He's always been confident, and that just continues to grow with the more success he has. And so he's a guy that's going to play a key role for us. He's as gifted of a receiver as I've ever been around, just with the skill set that's rare in football, with his size and ball skills and body control. That's rare. Like I said, you see a lot of basketball guys that do that, but not many of them not many of them play the game of football. And so with his skill set, you got a special guy. But the great thing about him is he's big and talented and gifted as he is, and he's still extremely physical and does everything right. He's extremely coachable. And so Drake's a special individual, and we're fortunate to have him. The other night when on that final play, as soon as I saw the coverage, we we switched formations and we called that play knowing that the ball's probably going to go to Drake. And it could be tight, but that's a throw. That's probably the play we call more than any other play in our offense. And it's a play that we've executed at a really high level a lot of times. And again, as soon as we saw the coverage, I knew where the ball was going to go, and I had a lot of confidence that we were going to make it because the two guys that were involved in it with Drake and Keaton. And so that's what you expect out of him now. And he holds himself to a really high standard. The expectations for him are really high from us and himself. And I think that you're just going to continue to see him do what he did the other night.
Ryan Young.
Graham, building off that, can you take us through the anatomy of that play and why that was the right call at the right time? And then among the big throws you've seen Keaton make, where does that one now kind of rank for you?
Well, we were in 2-by-2 and we hard counted just to kind of see what we were going to get. And when I saw the split safeties and that safety to the field kind of wild, that's when we switched formation because they looked back to the sidelines. So we were able to switch formations and call whatever we want. And really two things went into it. One, I think in that situation, too often people call the perfect play, when in reality, in my mind, you got to call what you're really good at because that's what those kids are going to execute. And that's a play that, again, that quarterback's really good at and those receivers are really good at in our offense. Just in general, over the last 2 years, that play is probably the play that we've had the most success on. And so, one, you want to call what you're good at. And two, when I saw those two safeties pretty wide, I knew we'd have Drake one-on-one with a linebacker, and that's a bad matchup. I don't care who the linebacker is, you know what I mean? And obviously he had a little bit of help over the top, but that's a throw that I think that Keaton and Keaton can make and that Drake can, a play that Drake can make most of the time. And so, that's why we switched to that formation and called what we called. And the two kids made a heck of a play. It was a good throw, especially considering the situation. And, I think that Keaton definitely made a great throw, but the catch is probably even more impressive than the throw, just with that guy swiping at his arm to be that strong and still find a way to hold on to that ball in that situation is really, really impressive. And so that was kind of the thought on the play. Like I said, we got a chance to look at the coverage, call what we're good at, and call a play that looks good against that coverage. And again, if we can get Drake matched up on a linebacker type player, that's a win for us in our opinion. And so that's what we had. Keaton threw it with confidence and threw a good ball, and Drake made an unbelievable catch.
And Tyler, what have you seen different in Drake this year?
Drake is still being Drake. He's still out there playing basketball. Seems like he's trying to jump over everybody. But all serious, he's just developed more as a route runner, I see. He's taking his time to craft himself throughout this offseason just to get better at that. And it shows. He's making moves and getting open easily, an easy year this year, I see.
Let's jump to Carlo.
Yeah, Tyler, you had 2 catches to the first 3 quarters and then 5 in that fourth quarter. How do you mentally stay ready when Keaton's maybe not looking your way in the early parts of the game?
You just got to know it's a flow of an offense. Just like I said earlier in the day, it depends on what they give us and how everything is flowing that day. Knowing that each game it could be anybody's game, you can't really go in there, I need the ball. So just having that in the back of my head, I wasn't really worried about it.
Okay, we have time for one more. Let's go to Skylar.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for being here and incredible win. This is a question for all three. When you have such an unconventional win, what is your number one takeaway about either this team or yourself that you take away from this win and apply next week and throughout the season?
Graham, you want to start?
That's fine. I think that, good teams find ways to win football games. And I don't know if, just to be honest, if last year's team finds a way to win that game, just because, and not that last year's team wasn't a good team, but, we talk about culture all the time offensively. And I think that especially early in last season, if we were in that same situation, there would have been some division on the sideline, people pouting, people getting frustrated. And I think that everyone at times was frustrated the other night. But there's a difference between being frustrated and acting frustrated. And I think that from everything I've heard and everything I can tell and everything I saw, on that sideline, there, no one was pointing the finger, no one was complaining. No one was worried about, hey, you shouldn't have fumbled, you shouldn't have done this, whatever. There was no complaining amongst each other, and everyone stayed calm and believed in what we're going to do, and that's how you win games. And so I think that the other night, what I think it spoke volumes about the culture, where we are culturally as a football team. To go through the adversity we went through and put the ball on the ground with 4 minutes left, down 13. That's a really easy situation to kind of throw in the towel and start kind of dividing as a football team. But I don't think there was any panic or any complaining. It was just, if we get the ball back, we got to go do what we do. And that's got to be our mentality all the time. And so I think that speaks volume about where we are culturally. And to win a game like that, I think, everyone knows we could have played a heck of a lot better. And so to still find a way to win, I think, one, that's what good football teams do, is find ways to win games that maybe you shouldn't win. But the other thing is it motivates you to, hey, we got to get a lot better this week in practice. But it also gives you a ton of momentum going into the rest of the season, with that being your first game, as far as believing you're always in a football game. And no matter what's going on, no matter what happens early, if you just keep playing, keep believing, keep fighting, keep attacking, at the end of the day, good things can happen. And so I think that's what you got to draw from that game. You should draw confidence that although we made a ton of mistakes that would normally beat you in a football game, you still found a way to win. That's how good of a football team you have the opportunity to be. And so moving forward, that's got to be our goal. Has to be we have to clean a lot of things up. We have to be a lot better. But as far as a team goes, we have a chance to be a special team when you can overcome all those mistakes.
Vi, you want to take that quick, and then Tyler?
Yeah, I think Coach Graham kind of covered it all. But at the end of the day, a game is 4 quarters, and you got to be ready for an then some after that. So it's just a matter of finishing. Like Coach said, you got to find a way. Coach Helton was going up and down the sideline the whole game. When it was 4 minutes left, just saying, like, it's going to be 28-27. We're going to get out the mud. And Steve and I actually had a conversation when it was like 3:50. We were like, some way, somehow, I just feel it. We're gonna get it out. That's what happened.
Yeah, I never in my head thought we was gonna lose that game. Just knowing the guys on the team, and like Coach said, just our culture, how we built it this solely this off season. I trust everybody around me, and I know they trust each other, you feel me, in that same manner. So we just always move as one. So I didn't feel as if we were, since I knew we weren't going to lose. I feel like everybody else felt the same way.
Great. Graham, thanks for joining us. Tyler and Vi, great job. Appreciate you guys joining us. Media, we will do this again tomorrow at 8 a.m. with Todd Orlando and a couple players. So have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Good looking out, y'all.